Howdy doody, y'all. It's Alec from Alec and Dave. Talk about shit. This is my friend Dave. Say hi, Dave. If you watched the Christmas podcast about our best Christmas movies and you're wondering why we're in the same exact clothes, it's because we recorded this one right after another. We are not lazy bums who only wear the same outfits. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe sometimes we do. It doesn't matter. The point is, we are doing just a little mini pod here, because we were thinking about Christmas movies, and also a new Knives Out movie has recently come out. Wake Up Dead Man. We have both seen it. We both have thoughts. We have thoughts about the Knives Out trilogy in general. And yeah, it felt a little appropriate. These movies aren't necessarily Christmas movies at all, but they have a kind of coziness to them, I would say, that sort of lends itself to holiday viewings. I think they've all come out in December, when they've been released. I think they generally have a vibe of like the kind of fun mystery movie that maybe has a little more depth to it or a little bit of heart that works for the holidays. So we figured it was a good time to also talk about these. That being said, Dave, did you want to start out by just talking about Wake Up Dead Man?
Um, so I love this movie. I had a great time watching it. I think uh um oh man, what's his name? The main character.
Oh, Josh, are you talking about Josh O'Connor or Benoit Blanc?
Josh O'Connor. Josh O'Connor was phenomenal. He was great as really just like the heart of this movie. I thought um Thomas Hayden Church as the Monsignor was genuinely really funny. He got me on a lot of things. I think the one
Wait, no,
thing,
no, no.
or no,
It's
sorry, Josh
sorry.
Brolin.
It's
Josh
Josh
Brolin was
Brolin.
the
Yeah,
Monsignor. Yes, yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. Thomas Hayden
Um,
Church is the groundskeeper, I think. Yeah,
yes, you were correct.
yeah,
Yep,
yeah,
yep, yep.
yeah.
Um, he was so funny. Every time they had uh um a confessional scene, I was laughing out loud, just dying laughing.
Mhm.
I will say I expected this to be more of a comedy, right? I feel like those scenes were the only, like, I think it needed a little bit more comedic lightheartedness to kind of bite into the tension.
A little
And
levity.
it's what I expected after Glass Onion. Like moving from Knives Out, which has funny moments, but is definitely not a comedy, to Glass Onion, which I would describe specifically as a comedy. I expected this to be more of the comedic kind, and it wasn't. Uh,
Yeah,
um,
I
I
I guess
think
I didn't personally expect that just because the precedent has kind of been set of like they can have various tones, these films. I think because of Knives Out having that like, you know, more serious kind of dramatic tone while also having a like some lightheartedness. Obviously, it's not like a deathly serious film. I mean, people do die, but it's not deadly. It's tone wise, it's still kind of light. I think this still fit the tone of the series to me. Um,
I think the
uh,
tone was much closer to the original Knives Out than to Glass Onion.
yeah, and I guess that does sort of speak to like if you liked Glass Onion more, or if you liked Knives Out more, your mileage will vary on this one. Um, whether you sort of liked this one more because it does go back to the original's tone a little bit more, like you said. Um, but yeah, I agree. I mean, I agree with everything you said. Like everybody's great in it. I think Glenn Close is also fantastic in it. Even Jeremy Renner, like he's good in it. I think there's just quite a few wonderful performances. I think Benoit Blanc as a character too just keeps getting better and better the more we see him. and the more we like kind of get to know him, uh, he's really like the returns on that character are growing. Um, and man, I do just like I love this series. You know, I think that like this is a uh, I saw it personally in a packed house to have a series that is like a original thing, you know, like not based on Agatha Christie murder mystery novels, you know, it's not like it was anything else first, any kind of IP. It's just this guy is now just writing murder mystery movies, and we all get to go see them once every couple of years. And they have this great new character, Benoit Blanc, who's just going to be in all of them. But besides that, it's just a new fun mystery, you know, every time. And the fact that this is like successful and can keep going, I think is a really great thing for movies in general. To have a very crowd pleasing kind of like movie like this, you know, coming up, an original film coming up like this every couple of years. So, um, I liked. Did you have any other thoughts about Wake Up Dead Man in particular?
Honestly, I think this is kind of funny. I think this might be an interesting conversation. I don't
Yeah.
think Glenn Close is bad, but I
Ooh,
think she's miscast.
interesting.
I think
Interesting.
I think she eats up the scenery, like she does her best and she gives a very Glenn Close performance. I would have liked somebody with a little bit more comedy in that role
Mm,
because she is the, like, I would describe her as the leading actress. I think she's the she gets the most screen time outside of Daniel Craig and Josh O'Connor.
yeah.
And she is just so serious the whole time. And I thought while I was watching it, I was like, she's the character that I wish had some funny bits, had some humor to them. But that's
Mm,
just not Glenn Close. Glenn Close doesn't really do that. And so I really feel like they got her and then they worked the character more towards her when knowing
mm.
Ryan Johnson, she was I am going to put my money down that she was a funnier character on first right. And I
Yeah.
think the movie would have been better with a little bit of comedy coming from her.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I agree. I didn't really have any problems with her character. I think she's pretty well realized as far as like characters in these things go. You know, a lot of them are generally speaking like archetype kind of things, and you don't like, you know, they don't get big character arcs for most of the time, except for like the central character, like Josh O'Connor's character. But if you're sort of like a bit player in one of these, it's sort of like it's more about just getting to what the fun mystery, you know, reveal stuff is, and like figuring out who did it. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It never bothered me, her character at all. I liked her performance. Um, you know, I'm just sort of I'm wondering as well if she was funnier, would that risk feeling like it was making fun of that type of like religious person too much? You know, um,
As a
I
religious
don't know.
person, I'm okay with that.
Also fair, fair enough, fair
Yeah.
enough.
But
Well, yeah.
she's the only one of the um she's the only one that I felt like had no comedy. Like, I think Jeremy Renner is funny sometimes. I think Kerry Washington and Daryl McCormick are funny sometimes.
Mhm.
Um she's the only one who I almost wish she went overboard in her acting to make it a little bit more lighthearted. Um
Sure,
which I think
sure.
is what that character calls for, but she's so good. She's such a good actress that she can't play it for laughs, right? Like she has to play it
Yeah,
seriously.
yeah.
Um, and it just
It,
did, to me, it didn't fit the movie.
Hmm. See, I don't think I agree with that. But what I will actually give you here, because I'm thinking about this now. And look, we're entering now spoiler territory for this movie. So if you haven't seen it,
Go
just turn
watch it
it
on
off.
Netflix. Yeah.
Go watch it on Netflix. It's free. Well, it's whatever amount Netflix is. Um, so spoilers from here on out. I do think that her performance being the only one that doesn't have a little bit of like levity to it does maybe kind of point to her as the like ultimate like suspect, like as the villain. Because I will say, not that she's actually a villain is the wrong term. She's not a villain, but just as the killer.
Yeah.
Um, I do think that like I did personally. I didn't get all the ins and outs for sure. I think it's a really, really well done, like who done it in terms of, or while the why done it is definitely very well done, and even the aspect of it where Jeremy Renner like plays a role in it, and like every part of their plan, all that's so good. But I did pretty early on feel like it was going to be Glenn Close who killed him.
It's
You know?
you when you walk it, she's by far the most famous actress of the group, of the people
Yeah,
who could do it. And
yeah.
immediately you're like, oh, it's going to be her.
Yeah. There are just a couple moments too where they sort of like hang on her in like a reaction shot a little bit too long, and like yeah, they are kind of planting seeds for some other characters, but like it just felt a little too obvious to me. Maybe we've seen too many mystery movies or something, but it definitely felt a little too obvious that it was going to be her, which did not ruin the film for me in any way. I was just sort of thinking, I wonder if she felt a little more like bumbling or something as a character, like you're suggesting. I do wonder if that would maybe take the sort of spotlight away from her as like a potential suspect, you know. Um, but personally, I don't think the movie needs it. I really don't. I really liked this one quite a bit. I think it is uh, because I have actually rewatched within the past month or so Glass Onion and Knives Out, and I'm gonna go on a limb. I'm gonna say I think this is my favorite one of the three.
Okay. So
Um,
I haven't recently watched the original Knives Out. I have recently watched Glass Onion again.
mhm,
And I think this is a better movie than Glass Onion. I think
yeah,
the original for me still is the best.
mhm, yeah,
And I
yeah,
think mainly because I think um, Anna de Armas and Chris Evans just kill it more
yeah,
than any other characters from any other actors from any other of the other movies.
yeah, yeah. I will say as well that I think that there is something about like the first one where I do think that all of the different characters that you're seeing in the first one in that family and surrounding that family do feel like a tad less cartoonish or like archetypal than in Glass Onion and in Wake Up Dead Man. I think Glass Onion
Well,
has like the worst of them, in
yes,
terms of
because like
that.
Glass Onion, I almost put it into its own category
Yeah,
because all of the characters are made to be so cartoonish, right? Like
yeah,
literally everyone is just
hmm
Ryan Johnson is just making fun of someone he doesn't like. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah, yeah.
um,
It is all, and none of them are particularly likable. Um, and that actually why to me I think for me it's maybe Wake Up Dead Man, the original Knives Out, and then number three would be Glass Onion as sort of the worst of them, which is not to say it's a bad movie, but I do think Glass Onion, where it suffers, it is that you don't like any of the characters, and the character that you do like, Janelle Monáe's character, for the first half of the movie, again, spoilers if you haven't seen Glass Onion, you should go watch it. For the first half of the movie, you also think that she is also just another like rich kind of former tech CEO person who like is good friends with all of these people, So she's also not that sympathetic. She's like more sympathetic than the rest of them, but I don't really like her like her. And then when it's revealed that it's actually like her sister who's just like pretending to be her to gather evidence, then the movie kind of takes off for me. And it's like, okay, we've got like a lovable central character who we're following through all of these like buffoons to try and figure out who killed, her sister. And that from that point on, it's great. But that's still like an hour ish plus before we get to anyone that I'm really sincerely rooting for. And that just, we're talking about three pretty great movies. That just sort of takes away from it for me. But yeah, I think the only thing I will also say in terms of why I think I like Wake Up Dead Man a little more than Knives Out, because I think Knives Out is also a really, really great mystery. But this is just sort of a preference thing again, I think. I think that's what's great about these movies as well, is like your favorite one can just be the one where you liked the mystery the most, And for me, I like that Wake Up Dead Man is more of a straight whodunit, Like it's got the why stuff, but like it is a pretty classic, just like we're figuring out who did this and why they did this the entire time. Whereas Knives Out does a very clever thing, but it does like subvert the whodunit within the first 20, 30 minutes or whatever, It's like, it's a whodunit, and then they're like, Ana de Armas did it, actually, and like, here's how it went down. And then for quite a while of the movie, it's like about Ana de Armas trying to sort of like hide that she did it, and like basically them trying to figure it out while she's kind of trying to hide what actually went down. And there's all sorts of awesome other stuff that's happening. It's still very enjoyable, but it's not a whodunit, at least on first watch. It's not a whodunit anymore for a good portion of the film. And then by the end, they sort of reveal actually she wasn't the one who actually killed him. And here's the whodunit stuff again, and you'll have fun with that. But like my personal preference is to just enjoy a whodunit mystery the entire time I'm watching, rather than have the subversion and then have it come back. Like, even if I think that's a clever writing thing that's like very well done, it's just I want actually more of just a straight mystery, which is
So
I
the
think
thing
why I
that
end up with Wake Up Dead Man. Yeah.
the thing that I'm going to argue for the original Knives Out though
Mm-hmm.
is that I didn't figure it out before the reveal. Right? Like
you didn't figure
I
out
was like,
that Chris Evans did it. You mean?
yes.
Yeah.
So I was like, was it Toni Collette? Was it Jamie Lee Curtis? Was it Michael Shannon? They did a better job of creating this world and making it more of a whodunit for me um than Knives Out 3. Like,
Yeah.
I think I figured out Glenn Close pretty early on.
Yeah.
And then I was watching it through the lens of, now I know that Glenn Close did it. What's going, like,
Why? Yeah.
what's
Why?
going to
And
happen next? Yada, yada, yada.
right. Right. And I do, yeah, I get that. I think I like, even if I was sort of like, I'm pretty sure Glenn Close did it, I still like having to like, we're going to get to the reveal, we're going to get to like, were there co-conspirators, and how they did it. I think I like that a little bit more. Again, I think even on second watch, I like Knives Out more than the first time I saw it. But that first time with Knives Out, like, I didn't figure it out that it was, Chris Evans or whoever, because, and maybe this is me being naive as a moviegoer, I totally bought hook, line, and sinker that Ana de Armas killed him. And I was just along for that ride. And so I wasn't thinking about like, oh, I wonder if somebody else actually did it.
Oh, I never fell for, like, even if she did it, it
Mhm.
wasn't her fault. Like, I knew that
Sure.
from pretty early. Like I remember them playing the Ana de Armas as the good guy
Yeah.
pretty early on in that movie. That made
Mhm.
me go like, okay, well, like, she's not at fault.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know
But
what I mean?
I don't know.
Like
I think even seeing that she killed him, it was clear, like, because she just mixes up or we think that she mixes up the two medicines or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And like ends up killing him accidentally. So I did kind of think it was like maybe, I don't know, I think maybe at some point I started to suspect that something else was happening, but for quite a while I was just sort of like, oh, this is just going to be about like, will she get away with it? You know, because she doesn't deserve to be caught. Like, she doesn't deserve to be blamed for this, you know? And like, and will the fortune stay with her after they reveal that he left all of his, you know, house and his publishing empire all to her? Like, will she get out of this, even though like she was the one who technically killed? That's like, my mind was sort of like buying it still. So I think from that perspective, I again, I kind of just want to be like, I don't know anything about this mystery, you know, but there are little like hints here or there. And then by the end, it can be like, oh, did I guess right or did I not guess right? And maybe it is just that I like the satisfaction in some way of being like, oh, I guessed Glenn Close right, but I didn't get this other thing, you know? Maybe it's just that. But it's, you know, none of these movies are very far apart from each other in terms of quality at all. Even Glass Onion, which I think the first time I watched it, I felt like was a real step down from Knives Out. Upon a rewatch, it's really good. It's a really fun movie.
Yeah.
It's not actually like I was maybe in a pandemic haze of just being in a bad mood or something when I first watched it, but it's much better than I
I
initially
mean,
thought.
I don't put a lot of trust in Rotten Tomatoes, but like all of these movies are above 90% of Rotten Tomatoes, and I actually think they got that one right. Like
I I think
that's
it's
the kind of
deserved.
quality with all three of these movies. Um, and they're really
Totally.
fun. And it's like you really, you know, I think all three of them were in my top 10 the year they come out. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
hold on. Spoiler alert for our next podcast. This is going to be in my top 10. The only question is, you know,
Where?
is it going to
Yeah.
be five or is it going to be eight? Is it going to be three? Right? Like it's just
Yeah.
that's the only
Yeah.
question I have. This is one of the best movies of the year. I'm being
Mm-hmm.
nitpicky about my thoughts on the Glenn Close character. But this is a phenomenal movie. It was super fun.
It's phenomenal. It's super fun. I also think it's one of the best of the year. It's probably going to end up in my top 10 unless I would have to see like three other movies that knock it out or something between now and then, you know, which is certainly possible. There's some great movies coming around Christmas, you know, Marty Supreme, No Other Choice. I haven't seen The Secret Agent. Like there's a couple that are supposedly very good, but I'd have a hard time believing this is getting kicked out of the top 10. But yeah, I'd say absolutely recommend for both of us for Wake Up Dead Man. See all the Knives Out movies if you haven't. You're gonna have a great time. If you like mysteries at all, this is like the best thing going right now in the mystery game. Unless you really really like those Kenneth Branagh movies, uh, but come on, they're not as good. They're not as good. The Death on the Nile and
Oh
you know
yeah, those
the
movies. Yeah,
Murder
no,
on the
they're
Orient
they're not
Express.
as good.
Yeah, they're not as good as that. And yeah, they're also pretty cozy and good Christmas movies. You know, everyone, you have a Merry Christmas. We will see you again very soon for our year-end wrap-up. We're going to do our best films of the year the next time we see each other. Um, and yeah, yeah, love to everyone, and have a wonderful Christmas.
See ya.